One of the biggest comments we get on our channel is how people can't believe the progress that Redneck has made in the last few years. Seeing videos of him now, you would never actually know that he's been through what he's been through and that our journey was so rocky from the beginning. One of my biggest regrets is that I didn't record more of our progress as the years went on, because those first few months were so full of trial and error and moments when I felt like I was just completely hopeless and there was no hope for our progress whatsoever. And looking back on that now, it's so hard to believe that we have come as far as we have. When I had first adopted Redneck at 11 months old, it was almost impossible to get close enough to even touch him, let alone do anything with him. It didn't matter how many treats you had, it didn't matter how much grain or food you had, he wanted nothing to do with anyone. This made it very difficult to make any progress in the first couple of weeks because a lot of our training methods involve me being able to even just touch him. And because I couldn't even get a halter on him, it made it very difficult to make any progress. So for those first few days and even weeks, a lot of our work sessions were pretty much me just sitting in the pasture, getting him used to having my presence around him, so that he would learn that just because I'm there doesn't mean something's going to happen or we were going to have to work. And it would just make him more at ease with having me around him. There was one day in the summer that I had adopted him that I spent at least a good 3 hours in the pasture just trying to touch him with a halter. And like I said, because I couldn't get a halter on him, it made it very difficult to make any progress. And I was trying very hard to not create more trauma and fear in the process of trying to get him haltered than he was already dealing with. But at a certain point, once I was finally able to get a halter on him, I had to just leave it on him, because once it was on him, it was a lot easier and less traumatic for him for me to just walk up to him and clip a lead rope to him, and then we were able to kind of start our training from there. The fact that I couldn't just walk up to him and pet him or touch him or give him a scratch or brush him was extremely difficult, and it made me feel like every step of progress we took forward, we ended up taking 2 steps back. We were eventually able to get to the point where he had enough trust that he didn't freak out when he was attached to a lead rope or haltered, and we were able to kind of coexist peacefully as long as I wasn't expecting too much from him. It was very slow progress, and this progress made me question if I had gotten in over my head when I had adopted him. I knew that it was going to take some work to earn that trust. I knew that we were starting from ground zero, and I had no idea what he had been through in his past that would cause him to have triggers or behaviors now. And so working from the ground up like that, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. But the fact that he was showing me that he wanted to learn, he wanted to trust me, he wanted to take those steps of progress, that was enough for me to keep going. And some days we made leaps and bounds of progress. Some days we made negative progress, and it seemed like we were just going further back instead of forward. There were days that he would lash out so badly, I would be in tears after our training session, wondering what it was I had gotten myself into. I remember telling people that no horse has ever scared me as much as he did, because he was so unpredictable, and he would lash out, and he didn't care who he ran over in his fits. He was just looking out for himself and trying to protect himself. And looking back, even in these videos, you can see that he's hesitant, but he's very eager and willing to learn. And that's why I wish I had gotten more videos of the difficult days that we had, because I feel like it's so important to show that no matter what you go through, no matter how difficult it may seem, how hopeless it may seem, it can get better. But I was really adamant that I wanted to make our training sessions playful. I wanted to tap into the curious side of him that I could see he was dying to let out. I wanted him to feel like we were having fun every day, not that we were working and making it miserable and something that he had to dread. I could tell that he really wanted to take part in what it was we were doing, but he was still leery. He wouldn't let me walk up to him and touch him, but the more we played, the more his curiosity got the better of him, and the more he would venture out of his safety zone, and the more he would explore and take chances and risks. And I can still see so much of that personality in him now as the full-grown 6-year-old boy that he is today, and how much of that curiosity side he has allowed to come out now that he feels safe and that he can trust me. But even seeing these videos back, I can see how much he was holding back, how much he wanted to trust, but he was still scared. And so I love that we've been able to open up that part of him that he was so scared to show for so long.